I didn't feel like I was really in a different state. I didn't really feel like I was out of control of myself or that I was hypnotized until sort of all of a sudden I would kind of just find myself in a completely different place, which was the craziest thing. I physically felt like I was a different person. I was like a little girl, I was an old lady, I was a man. It was quite strange. I could feel the material of my clothes. You know, I could touch the things around me. Incredibly realistic. And then the next minute I was completely normal again, bizarre. Sort of all of a sudden, I'd find myself in a completely different place, being a completely different person, which was really strange and completely realistic. I could feel the material of my clothes. I could see my hair, having different hands. I could touch the objects around me. I could feel the plastic orange bowls with the scratch. I could feel the scratches in them. Really strange. I could feel the weather and the temperature in the different places that I was at one point sort of myself as a child, this life, and then I was a little girl. Kind of emotional reactions were really strong and kind of took me by surprise. I didn't expect to feel strong emotions. They just came all of a sudden and then went away again almost as quickly. It's a really interesting experience. That's kind of how I feel like when things are not going well. I just sort of feel like I could sort of fade away and disappear and nobody would notice. You know, it's just nobody was there and nobody was aware that I should be a part of things. There was nobody to help. Time was just slowly moving on. At the time, I just sort of felt invisible, but vague and floating and sort of, oh, I'll just sort of quietly wait while time goes on, you know. There is a similarity in that I feel like I try to talk to people about it and people just sort of dismiss it. You know, this is something that shouldn't be important to me, it shouldn't matter to me, and it doesn't matter that it does matter to me, you know. It's there are other people who matter more, or who do matter, and I don't. And my experience just is a non-thing for people. I find it very difficult because I kind of have to just deal with it on my own. It's not acknowledged.
What's it like dealing with it on your own?
It's tough, it's hard, yeah. Yeah, there would be that similarity, feelings that are ignored and not noticed and don't really matter. Yeah, even though the session was 2 hours, it felt like 40 minutes. Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. At the time, I felt completely conscious, completely awake, and completely myself, having these experiences. And now it feels like something that happened a week ago. I feel like I've definitely found the source of that thought loop, the source of the thought. Yeah, I normally am simmering under about 4.
Okay.
Which is, I'm getting along well enough day to day. I'm, you know, mostly happy enough, but it's kind of in the background, you know. I do feel more empowered. I do feel more like I have more energy. I feel refreshed. I would recommend regression therapy to anybody struggling with depression, particularly long-term depression and maybe treatment-resistant depression, the type that I have, which is something that's there for years, bubbling under the surface and tough to treat, and you're just kind of getting through life with it. It's not a magic bullet, but it definitely makes a difference, and it definitely seems to reach levels that other treatments don't seem to reach. I would recommend it, regression therapy with Trina Sharon.